So there is a big event coming up soon. That's going to be good for the whole world, for the church, and close to Pope Francis' heart. It's going to do a lot of good. We're getting ready for it. So what is that? What's coming up? Star Wars, exactly. Star Wars. So coming up December 18th. So, all right, no, it's not Star Wars. What I'm talking about is the Year of Mercy. The Year of Mercy is coming up this Tuesday. So Pope Francis has declared that this year, starting on the Immaculate Conception, which is Tuesday, going to next Christ the King, which is November 20th, that whole year be the Year of Mercy. Many graces will be available. In fact, our church has been designated as one of the pilgrimage churches in the diocese as a place of pilgrimage during the Year of Mercy. So we'll talk more about that in the future. We have a whole year to unpack mercy. But what I would like to talk about, especially this morning and for this little message series during Advent, is receive mercy, give mercy. That's going to be a theme. Receive mercy, give mercy. We can't give what we don't got. So we can't give mercy to others if we don't experience it ourselves. We don't receive it ourselves. Receive Jesus. So in order for us to receive mercy and to give mercy, to know what the Lord wants us to do, we need to have that path in our lives, a path to our heart and to the heart of Jesus, and to hearts of others. As we hear in the scripture, the prophet crying out, John the Baptist, and from Isaiah, prepare the way of the Lord, make straight his paths. The winding road shall be made straight, the rough ways made smooth. What are those rough ways in our life right now? Maybe we're getting a little anxious about Christmas coming up because we think of all the things we had to do. As I said at the beginning of the Mass, we need to slow down right now. Slow down. I'm going to tell you a little story. My first assignment as a priest after I was ordained was Fairbanks, Alaska. That was my first assignment. I had no idea that was even a possibility. Well, I mean, I knew we had a priest in Fairbanks, but that was his gig. You know, he wanted to do that. So he helped out Eskimos and Native Americans in different tribes in the villages and all around Alaska. And so that's what he wanted to do. That was his calling. So he got permission from his superiors. But then he found out that I was going to be ordained, and he talked to the provincial. It wasn't Father Dan at the time. But and the provincial said, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's send him out to Alaska for a year. So I went out there, and I was mainly a chaplain to the college students, because that's what he was at the time, at the University of Fairbanks. But I also spent 3 weeks in this village of 300 Athabascan Native Americans. They're not Eskimo, but they're near the Eskimos. And it's a village called Kaltag on the Yukon River. So I'm not going to go into detail on the Yukon River. It's just real big. Okay, it's a big river in Alaska in the western part. And so I went out there, and as I'm getting ready for the flight, and the only way you can get out there is by the bush pilots, by a small airplane, so it's just me, and the pilot, and somebody else. So before I got on the plane, the priest, Father Gerald, who's had a lot of experience in the bush, he said, okay, so you want to wear warm clothes, and you want to wear your coat, boots, because if you crash and you survive the crash, you won't survive the wilderness. Okay, thank you. That's great. Thanks for telling me. I wish you told me that before. I'm glad I did wear all those clothes because there's no heat in the plane. So, okay, we went out there. They dropped us off. It was me and this other college student. It was going home for a Christmas break. So they pick her up and they take her by snowmobile to the village. So I'm just there out in the wilderness by myself, just hoping that an angry moose doesn't come along or something. I don't know. And so he comes back. And he's an old Athabascan Native American and a little crusty, a little salty. And so his first words were, what the bleep are you doing here? Yeah, I did not expect that greeting. I was newly ordained priest. I thought, hey, you're the priest. All right. So after I recovered from that, I said, well, actually, that's funny you say that because I asked the Lord that same question right now. So he said, okay, hop on. So I've never been on a snowmobile in my life, right? From Philadelphia, and we have some snow, but not that much. So I hop on, and we go like 0 to 60, and I'm trying to hold on, and the wind's coming in my face, and, so we get there. Anyway, so more in the future. But let's fast forward to Christmas, or 2 days before Christmas. I found out that I'm going to do Mass, of course, on Christmas. But this other village, 30 miles upriver on the Yukon River, Nulato, they don't have a priest. So on Christmas, they're not going to have Mass on Christmas Eve or Christmas. So I thought, that's not right. Someone should do something about that. Oh, yeah, I'm the priest. That's right. So maybe I'll go up there. So I decide that, okay, I'm going to go up there on Christmas after I do Mass in Caltag and go up there. So I had to practice. I'd never been in a snowmobile before, so I practiced 2 days before. They had to dig me out after I got stuck, going like 10 miles an hour. And so that was my practice. But in order to go from one village to another, you had to follow the stakes. You had to follow the stakes that they put out, reflectors on these stakes. Because what happens is when the river freezes, it's a very big river, and so it doesn't all freeze all nicely, whatever. There's big chunks of ice that are coming up. You may not be able to see it because it's covered with snow. If you're going 60 miles an hour and hit that, that's not a good thing. And so they have fellows who actually go out when the river is first being frozen, and they find out where the best place is to go. So we have a picture of me on the Yukon River, and that's not a lake, that's a river. And so we just stopped at one point just so we can take a picture. And you see, I think it was so cold, I think one of my hands fell off. That's why you only see one. And so you see the reflector in the distance there. You need to follow that. You need to follow that so you avoid any bad stuff. So, but I relied on those fellows who put those stakes there, and what happened the rest of that journey, I'll tell you next week. But you have to find out if I made it out alive or not. I don't know. So, but that was an experience. In order for me to bring Jesus to others, I had to become uncomfortable. I had to go out of my comfort zone, what I knew. It's the same with us. If we want to bring Jesus to others, and we're all called to do it in different ways, if we want to bring Jesus to others, then we have to get out of our comfort zone. We have to do things that we haven't done before, or things that we'd rather not do, but who else is going to do it? Who else in our family is going to do it? Our coworkers, our friends. What is the Lord asking us to do? Where is that path that the Lord has placed in our life? Maybe it's been overgrown a little bit. Maybe it's in the wilderness. Maybe snow is covering it. We don't see where that path is. But the path needs to be made smooth. We need to look out for those stakes. Who gave us the best path to follow? Jesus. He walked the way first on this earth. That's the only way a path can be made. And if you walk it, if you ride it, snowmobile it, that's the only way that there's going to be a path. Same with us. We have to find that path in our life. It's also with those saints who have gone before us and our ancestors, our family members. They've walked this journey, and we need to follow them, to imitate them, to see what they have done. What is the Lord calling us to do? This week, I encourage us to slow down, not to speed up. Don't speed up. Don't try to do all these things that you have on your list in your head or actual list. Do all that shopping that you think you have to do. All these activities which you think you have to do. Take some things off of your list and blame me if you have to. But you have to take some things off. We had to keep quiet for a little bit. We had to be silent. We had to turn off that cell phone for at least 5 minutes. Turn off. Turn off. I see some people looking at their phones now. I mean, if you want to turn off now, that's great. But this week, turn off the TV. Turn off the TV for at least a little bit. Turn off that background music for at least a little bit. Go out and take a walk without the headphones or the ear things, whatever they're called. Listen in the silence to what the Lord is telling you. It's not going to come all at once. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be uncomfortable. We're very much uncomfortable with silence today in our world. But that's not a good thing. It's psychologically not a good thing for us always to be stimulated in our senses. We can't take that. It's overload. We need silence. We need prayer. We need to spend time with Jesus. Then we're going to be able to see those reflectors on the path. There is the path. There is the path. I have a plan for one plan. This is one of the plans for the Year of Mercy. I want you to be a part of it. Receive mercy, give mercy, right? We need to receive mercy. So focus on receiving mercy this week. Pray. Pray. Spend time in prayer. But during this next year, from this Tuesday until next November, I want us as a parish family to focus. We're going to focus on all the different corporal works of mercy, spiritual works of mercy. But I want us to rally around a specific corporal work of mercy for this year that's going to affect Yorkville. It's going to have an impact on Yorkville. What's that going to be? I don't know yet. You're going to have a hand in that. So this week, if you can think of a corporal work of mercy, and let's bring up the corporal works of mercy to remind us. So those are the corporal works of mercy. It doesn't have to be that exactly, but it has to be connected to that some way. What is the Lord calling us to do that's going to impact Yorkville? And this is one of the ground rules. It has to be something in which we can all get on board with, or that it makes sense. And also, we're going to give money towards this so it can happen, but it's not extra money. It's money you already have in your budget. So you already have budgeted, you're already going to spend money on this, but I'm going to ask us to either give it up during the Year of Mercy or reduce it. At least give it up or reduce it. So it's already something that you're planning to spend money on, but we're going to give it up for this cause. Because that's the best way in which the more generous we are, there's going to have a big impact, I believe, on this community. So next week, come with your ideas. Pray about it. Think about it. If you want to write it down this week, you can and bring it. We'll collect them. We'll offer a piece of paper you can write on next week. You can type it up this week. And then the week after that, we're going to present to you the top choices from that. Top 3, top 5, we'll see. And I'm going to ask you to vote. And then the winner, the one that gets the most vote, I'll reveal that on Christmas. And that'll be the corporal work of mercy that we rally around during the Year of Mercy. How's that sound? We have to... Okay, good, yeah. Good. All right, thanks. But as Pope Francis says, we have to become uncomfortable a little bit, right? So this may cause us to be uncomfortable. We may not like it at the beginning, but we're called to do this for others. As we hear in the second reading from St. Paul, St. Paul is saying, we're talking about the joy that he has for the people of God. I always pray with joy in my every prayer for you. How I long for all of you with the affection of Christ Jesus, that you may be pure and blameless. I wanted to bring Jesus to these people because otherwise they would not have even Mass on Christmas. What is the Lord asking you to do?